Hello.
Hola, chica.
Hi, honey bunch. We're back.
Buenas noches. Buenos dias.
Hola, darling. Where have you been, Buster?
I have been halfway across the world and back again. I am back from I want to say my holiday, but I mean, it was a cheeky break.
A cheeky break. 3
Away
weeks.
for 2
3
weeks.
weeks I had to do without you. 3 sardies. 3 sardies.
I know, and that was only just because of the way that it fell.
Yeah.
We left on the Saturday and came back on a Saturday, and we were away. A Saturday occurred when we were away. Otherwise, yeah. But no, we were away on a transatlantic. I was going to say transcontinental, a transatlantic cruise that started in San Juan in Puerto Rico.
Say that again. Say that again. Where?
San Juan in Puerto Rico. San Juan.
You should have like one of those Panama hats on and a big dirty cigar, wearing like a smoking jacket, you know, and you just come.
Oh yes.
And then I would have said,
and a Cuban heel.
And I would have said, have you been to San Juan?
Hello, Miss Legs. How are you?
Ah, senor, I am very good. My name.
But yes, we went to San Juan in Puerto Rico. That's where we boarded. We spent the night there, and then we got on the ship on the Sunday. We arrived on the Saturday, got on the ship on the Sunday, and we made our way to the Dominican Republic, which I think is nice. We didn't actually get off. I know. But there wasn't a great deal for us to do excursion-wise, and where we were docked, there wasn't really anything that was accessible. So we figured we would just stay on the ship, you know?
Okay.
And then after that, we went to St. Martin.
As you do. As you do. And it was just a break. It was just a break.
Well, I haven't finished yet. We had 5 days at sea, and then we went. Yes, 5 days at sea. We went to Cape Verde, and then we had another day. We had another 2 days at sea, and then we went to Tenerife, and then we left Tenerife. And I had another day at sea, and then we finished up in Lisbon. We were away for.
I know her. I know her.
Do you?
Lisbon. I know a lot of people from Lisbon.
Oh dear. Anyway, welcome to G&T Sips and Giggles, one for the road. This episode is where Tina and I catch up on all things that have been happening over the past week or so. Now, given that we did pre-record all of the previous episodes, it's actually been, 3 weeks since we last caught up?
Yes, it's been 3 long weeks. So it has. It's like a Leona Lewis Christmas song. 5 more nights till you're coming home. 3 more days. So it is. Yeah.
Oh, my heart's bleeding. My heart's bleeding.
Do I hear a little hint of sarcasm in there somewhere, Buster?
Miss Legs, you should run.
Honey, you know me. Listen, I can run, but I prefer to strut.
Light up,
as if you have a choice. You know when you hear some of them in the shows when they're singing at the G&T karaoke shows and they can't hit that note, and they go, light up, as if you have a choice. And you and I just look at each other and go, I was good. I was good. I was good. And
let's not beat around the bush. Half of the times it's me struggling to hit that note.
I wouldn't even dare attempt Miss Leona Lewis. I wouldn't do the girl an injustice, honest to God. So while you've been away, yes, and while I have been holding the fort.
Okay, hold the phone, because we need to just hit the theme tune.
Okay. So, while you've been away, it has been the most ugliest weather Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
right.
torrential rain. But here's the funny part, and this is the most frustrating, and this is what really ticks me off. I don't mind if
Right.
it's raining everywhere, but
Hmm.
just no, it's in Northern Ireland and it's going to stay there for the rest of the week. And you look at the south of Ireland and you look at England, Scotland, and Wales, and their heat wave started last week. Ours
Right.
only started today. It literally, I mean, it's gorgeous, and I'm great. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you so much indeed. But like, I woke up this morning, I looked at the window, and I went, "Thank fudge, thank you." It's like it only took you a week and a half. So while you were away, and you know all those gorgeous photographs that you put on Big Book and Instagram and Snapchat, and
I didn't actually. Do you know? Can I just say, to be fair, compared to most holidays, I thought I did all right
yeah,
this time.
you were quite tame. You were
Uh-huh.
tame with the finger. I have to say,
I
yeah,
was.
you did hold back on the click, 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 click. But then it was only a break.
I know. Well, this is
It's
it,
only
and
a
I do
break.
have quite. I do have quite a lot of photographs. I'm going to have to invite you over sometime for a slideshow.
Busy.
I do have. I do actually have quite a lot of photos, but I kind
You
of.
can,
I was very
you
restrained.
keep
I was
them. You
very
keep them
restrained.
for yourself, love. Don't you be sharing them with anybody. You
And
can,
no, it'd be like I was sitting there with my
uh,
clicker going, and this is in front of a railing, and this is us in front of another railing, but just from a different angle,
uh-huh,
and that in the background there is a mountain, but don't worry about
uh-huh.
that. Look at us in front of a
And here's
railing.
Gary and Sparky beside a wall. This is them at the end of the wall. And then 4 hours later,
Yeah.
Tina's beard came back. Do you know what I mean? But here, I want to ask our viewers something. I want to ask our listeners something, right? This happened to me as I was getting ready. So,
Right.
number one, I'm a real hoarder when it comes, and you've seen my stuff, you've seen how much I have, and I'm going to be doing like a big kind of sort of Tina vintage drag sale soon. I'm keeping
Ooh.
some of them, and this is one of them. However, when I was getting ready, I was so excited because my work husband is back on the scene, okay? And I put this
Hi.
dress on. Now, it's vintage and it's gorgeous. However, I want to show you something. Watch this. I put it on inside out. Look, look. But here's the,
And for the benefit of our
yeah.
listeners, Tina has just stood up. Has just stood up to,
To show everybody that I have no
to show us the
shame.
seams.
I have no shame that I'm wearing a gorgeous vintage smocky kind of summery dress, but I'm wearing it inside out. Here's my question. Are you as superstitious as me? Because it's an old wives' tale that once you put it on and you've wore it for a couple of minutes and then you realise it's inside out, it's very bad luck to take it off and put it back on again the right way. So,
Um,
have you heard of
I
that?
don't. I've heard of this superstition.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh huh.
Well, so there you go. So I'm not talking Mognac. So I would love to hear from our viewers and our listeners and everyone. Has this ever happened to you? Number one, what did you do about it? Number two, if you did take the item of clothing off and reverse it and put it on properly, did you have any bad luck?
Oh, that would be interesting to
Wouldn't
hear. Yeah.
it? And what bad luck did you have? And did you get a claim?
Or did you lose your benefits?
Yeah,
I mean, could have went either way.
that is bad luck. That is bad luck. Everybody's on benefits, love. Everybody's on. Listen, we would not survive. Nobody would survive without them, for God's sake, honestly.
But Leah, here, tell me more about your vintage. So tell me, what are you doing? What is that
So
all about?
last year, Mummy and I here in the house, we had the whole house insulated. And we
Right.
had some heaters replaced and stuff like that because the house was a very cold house. However, then we didn't realise, because the wonderful people from occupational therapy asked us, was the loft insulated? And we said no. However, had to gut it all out. 32 years of drag. It took me 3 days. And because I have that big igloo out the back, which was a godsend, I've
Yeah.
stored everything. They're all in black bags. They're all in big boxes. I have vintage costumes from like 20 years ago. So what I've been doing is taking what I want to keep and putting it back in, washing it, steaming it, drying it, ironing it, because we're back in Union Street every single Saturday. The G&T karaoke show. It starts at 4 o'clock. You can buy a bottomless sponge table for £35 per person. It's the best karaoke show you're ever going to come across. You will be treated like a VIP. Don't forget, if you do buy the bottomless sponge package, the food is from Spaghetti Arms and it is delicious. So the outfits and the costumes and the dresses that I'm going to sell, I need to do a wee bit of shushing with. And then I'm going to either stick them on eBay or Vinted.
Oh, well, Vinted. Everybody was into Vinted there. My Gary had a Vinted shop. Do you ever see the posts online where people are putting things up on Vinted and they're selling them for like £3 and somebody comes along going £2.50?
Yeah.
And then the seller's like, it's 50p.
Yeah.
Like, are you actually... The thing is £3 and you're asking for 50p's worth of saving. I find that hilarious. I personally haven't experienced it, but it does tickle me.
I've had an idea, okay? Instead of doing one item at a time, I'm going to do Tina's drag bag.
Okay.
And it's 5 items. And it's for like 25 quid. And you get like dress, skirt, shoes, belt, 5 items.
Bit of a
lucky dip. Lucky dip. Yeah.
That's really popular, actually. So do you remember we were talking before about the campaign Boys Get Sad Too, and I was talking about that being a grassroots mental health charity. I actually got an email during the week, and they were doing something very similar. I mean, not to the extent of what you're proposing, but it was like a mystery box, and they would give you any 2 items in their collection, but it would be like a hoodie and a t-shirt for 55 quid. It would normally be 75 or whatever.
Okay.
So I kind of know exactly where you're coming from. It's really, really popular. I think that's such a cracker idea.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think I'll be a winner because they're in really good, all of the stuff is really good quality. They're really vintage. They've still got the labels on them, and I don't mind parting with them now because we have a bit of work going on very soon here at number 97, as you well know. Ooh. Yes, we have. So anyway,
you're getting the West Wing added.
We're getting the West Wing. I'm going to be, oh God, I forget the actress's name. The Good Wife. What's?
Oh yes.
Do you know her? What's her name?
Juliana Margulies.
That's it. I love her. Her name is just Juliana Margulies.
We're back in San Juan. In Puerto Rico.
My name is Natina. It's Julian Magalis. Margarita Blackerton. It's so funny. But listen, yes, so we have that coming up with the house, and our wee lives are going to be a wee bit disrupted. So I'm just making room while I can earn a little bit of cash. And put it away in that old, what is it they call it, that rainy day?
Oh, the rainy day fund.
The rainy day fund account, that I just want to have that to fall back on. And then I'm going to sell my big igloo.
Okay.
The actual igloo. Tina's igloo that I bought in June of 2020. Do you remember we were all locked down?
Yeah.
And you want to hear this? Oh my God, this is so interesting. So the guy had bought these igloos, 7 of them. And nobody was interested in them. No one. And his online cosmetics business went bust.
Right.
So he put these igloos online. And he got them over from Germany. He got them just before the lockdowns. And they sold so quickly, and he made a fortune. So he got another shipment of them in. And when he came to the house, obviously you have to put it all together yourself. You know our Jacob, Big Jake from the Maverick.
Oh, yes. Big handsome
Jake. Our Jake's the man. He came down and put it up, and it has gorgeous big vintage light bulbs, and it has so much room. I had a big cuddle sofa in there. I had a TV in there, But with the extension, you see, the back garden's going to be a bit smaller. So I need to create more room by getting rid of it. Does that make sense? Right. So
yes, absolutely.
I'll be putting that up. First come, first serve, but I'm not going to put my price up yet. What I might actually do is put it out on Facebook and other media social outlets and say, give me a price. Give me a price. You have to come and take it yourself, and you get the bit of decking as well. It sits on lovely decking. So it does.
Lovely.
Guess what's around the corner?
No, we're not having this conversation. If you tell me Christmas,
well, it's gay Christmas. It's Eurovision.
Gotcha. Yes, indeed.
Tina strikes again.
So looking forward to Eurovision this year. We've got the first semi-final coming up on the 13th, Tuesday the 13th of May.
Yes.
Second semi-final is on the 15th of May, with the final being shown on the 17th of May, which is the Saturday. Although, here's the interesting thing. This year, that normally what happens whenever the Eurovision is on, the semi-finals, the big five, so it's kind of like Italy, France, Germany, Spain, and the UK. Normally, they don't perform in the semi-finals.
Oh.
So it's only the people who are actually trying to qualify would perform.
Right.
But this year, the big five are actually getting the opportunity to perform in the semi-finals. Now, I mean, their performance doesn't mean anything, but it does actually mean that we now get to see them perform before the actual grand final, which I think is actually really good, because it helps to really elevate the songs, and it helps to really to put the songs in context of what else is in the competition. Do you know that? I do.
And here's another question. Now, you normally, you and gorgeous Gary, your beautiful husband, husband number one. So he comes first. I'm like number 5 or something. But are you going to have your Eurovision party this year, my love?
We've been talking about it. We need to work out whether or not everybody's here. A couple of our diehard friends who have been at every single Eurovision that we've ever hosted since way back in 2011. Because Eurovision's a week later this year, unfortunately they've booked travel because they assumed that Eurovision would be at the same time. So they're not going to be here. Now, that's not to say that we still couldn't have fun. Of course, I've got other people that come along, but I think it's really down to the weather. I'm sort of feeling that with all this good weather that we're getting right now,
by then,
that we're cursed to get the bad weather in May. Do you know that?
No, listen, I'm going to make a prediction. I am going to make a prediction. I think we're going to have the hottest, longest, sexiest, sizzling summer we have ever had on record.
Oh, I'm excited about that. I mean, technically, I shouldn't be excited about it because it just basically means that the world is
coming to an end.
Warmer, but
we're coming to an end.
Yes.
So, may as well.
But it's
may
fine.
As well go out with the tan.
We had a great 2025. Summer was sizzling.
Brilliant. What happened? We sizzled. And Glenn's hair grew as long as Tina's.
But to answer your question, that as it stands, we are planning to have the Eurovision party, and as you know, we go all out. We have it in the back garden. We get the big screen up, so we get the big lights out. Oh my God!
Last year it was so amazing. I mean, the production you put on was amazing. I didn't stay, obviously.
I know.
I was a very good girl.
I mean, I have to sort of stress, when we say the term Eurovision party, it's a viewing party. So like, all we're actually doing is all sitting as a collective watching Eurovision. I mean, I use that again quite loosely because some of us will sit and watch it religiously, and then mostly everybody else will just sit and chat and drink, and really only gets exciting whenever they do the actual votes. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But you know what? It's like a crowd of women sitting watching a concert, you know what I mean? Or a group of guys sitting watching a dart match, a boxing match, you know, which obviously that match that was boxing match on during the week.
Is this Chris Eubank's son?
And Ben, what's his name? Chris Eubank and
hold on, I'll look him up.
Quick.
Chris Eubank Jr.
Yes.
Okay, we're looking for news. Conor Ben.
So you had Conor Ben and you had Chris Eubank Jr. had that big boxing fight, and it was Ben who won.
Okay, I haven't seen it because I don't know. Hold on, 2 seconds.
Chris Eubank.
So it says Conor Ben reveals what Chris Eubank Sr. told him in hospital after losing.
And then the two of them had to be taken to hospital. They ended up in the hospital bed beside each other on the same ward. It's going to be very awkward for visitors, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what was it? Were they injured? Like, were they badly injured?
I think it's part of the. I think it's part of the protocol now. When you go like after a certain amount of rounds in a boxing match, you don't get to go swan off and go back with your family or whatever. You need to go and you need to have a CAT scan, an MRI scan, and things to make sure that everything is fine because. There's no swelling on the brain. It's the same now. I think they're going to apply that to the likes of rugby matches.
Okay.
And any those games that they have like the World Cup and people from here go and they play in that astronomical heat.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be part of the protocol that after a match or someone who suffers from hydration or something must go to hospital and must get checked and must have CT and
Yeah.
all the checks and things like that. But yeah, they had to go, both of them, because they went to 12 rounds. So they did.
Jeez. Did you watch the match yourself? No. I'm just asking. You seem to know a lot about it. Like, I'm just asking.
It's only because I'm really nosy.
I would have watched it, except I was on my hollybops. You know what I mean?
Well,
Here, Big Brother. So I know that we spoke about Big Brother on a couple of episodes.
Yeah,
back,
we did.
And I was dying to watch it, but again, I might have mentioned already, but I was on my hollybops. But I did.
We were on a break.
We since we've got home, we did go back and watch a few episodes. Right. Did you watch any of it at all,
No,
Alexi? Did you get a chance?
I chose not to watch it. I just get in the hot tub.
So, Jack P. Shepherd won. RuPaul Drag Race alumni and national talent Danny Beard was also in it. Now, he wasn't one of the ones that were in our initial lineup when we were chatting about it. So, I mean, it was kind of rumoured that he was going in. They had him on Big Brother's Late and Live last year. There was kind of a lot of swirling that he was sort of being primed to go into the house. For what I've seen so far, you know, I mean, I like Danny anyway, but I really like Danny now after watching it. I don't really see... We've not really got that far enough into it to see why Jack P. Shepherd has won. He's part of been floating about in the background, although we've got caught up to Mickey Rourke being kicked out of the house.
Now, can I just stop you there? Because I have been watching bits and pieces. It seemed to be that there was some sort of a kind of a hate campaign to get Jack out.
Was
yes. There? And it was, and it was... and people were starting to complain that he was being edited very unfairly.
Okay.
And he was coming across like a grinch, like a moaner, like a yap. And his colleagues, work colleagues from Coronation Street and stuff, and his family and friends were saying, that's not fair. They're portraying him as, and they were all, you know the way they do, get Jack out, get Jack.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, you see him skipping around the place. You see him kicking his legs up. You see him having the banter. You see him having the crack. So I don't know if that was orchestrated or not with very clever editing. Do you know what I mean? And I can understand why, because half the nation who were supporting Jack felt this was kind of a sort of an attack, if you like, on him. Yeah. But here's the others. Never mind Jack. Your wee woman Jojo and your man Chris.
Oh, why? Yes, I read an article today. Apparently, they are kindred soulmates.
What?
She split up with her girlfriend
at the after party.
Yeah.
Her girlfriend went to the after party, and Jojo just dumped her.
That's wild,
isn't it?
Absolutely wild.
Oh my God! I think it's I mean, it's her business, yes, but to do it like that.
So just while you're saying that, actually, just before we move on, I was listening to an interview with Danny Beard, and he was saying that actually Jack P. Shepherd was the deserved winner. He was really funny throughout the entire of the season. And obviously, as you say, it is a produced program, so they are going to create storylines to fit the narrative and to obviously to gauge the viewership, you know, the viewers. But yeah, like I said, I haven't got that far into it just yet. I hadn't heard about the supposed hate campaign for Jack, but hopefully I'll get caught up. I'm keen to see what sort of goes on, you know.
Yeah, but those are the parts that I watched, the interesting parts. The rest of it was like, do you know what I mean? It really was. I love Danny Beard. I think he's absolutely amazing. He's cracking, but that's about the height of it. And Patsy Palmer was a bore.
I told you whenever we were chatting, and I said to you, I think a lot of people are going to be expecting her to be
real
like
Bianca.
Yeah.
And she was all zen and she was all yoga and
she's been totally LA'd. She's been totally LA'd.
Yeah, and I'm, please, just go home. Bring back Mickey Rourke.
Here, one of the things I did actually read about. Have you ever heard of the term lifestyle creep?
No.
So, there was an article in the Telegraph. I had plenty of time to read over the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to say it again, but I will have plenty of time to be on my phone. And there was an article that I came across, and it was actually talking about this new term called lifestyle creep.
Okay.
Now, basically what it is, it's a newfangled 2025 term for keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the idea here is that it's like the stealthier sibling is what they're saying of keeping up with the Joneses. So it's not like this shameless acquisition of certain status symbols where, you know, you have to go and tell the world that you're as well off as your neighbours. As we said, keeping up with the Joneses. It's not about that. Instead, what it's referring to is it's like the subtle loosening of your own financial restraint as your income starts to rise. So basically, as you start to get paid more, where you used to maybe spend, you know, 79p on own brand bickies, now you're spending, you know, £1.19 on a pick up a penguin. Do you know that way? So this is a newfangled term. Do you think that you have ever experienced lifestyle creep, Legs?
Never.
Never?
No.
Have you never been in a position where you thought, I've got a bit of extra cash, I'm just going to get top shelf booze now? Or
Nope.
You never treat yourself? And then
I
consistently treat yourself every time?
I consistently treat myself, but I don't do it in a lifestyle creepy kind of way. Do you know what I mean? I think a treat to me is, oh God, this is going to sound really kind of sort of. What is a treat to me? See, as you get older, listen to me. Listen to me. As you get older, you kind of sort of your tastes change and your needs change and your mindset changes. And a lifestyle change to me is something like, it's not about a packet of biscuits. I wouldn't.
No, so let me be clear on what it's referring to. So this is like, it's a series of little things, right? So you might have once upon a time had the occasional fancy bottle of wine.
Right.
And as you've got a better income, that occasional fancy bottle of wine becomes the de facto bottle of wine.
Wow.
You're now buying something that used to only be, you know, oh, we'll treat ourselves to that, to becoming, that's our new sort of normal.
Yeah.
And then a newer fancier bottle of wine then is your occasional.
Yeah, no, I
that way?
understand what you mean. It's like every Christmas I get our groceries from Marks and Spencer's. But I could go to Marks and Spencer's every week and get my groceries anyway.
It's terribly posh.
I know. But
this is not just any grocery. This is a Marks and Spencer's grocery.
But that to me, as I could become a lifestyle creep. God, I don't want to go to that other supermarket. I'm very much a convenience, happy-go-lucky, tricksy chick. You know, I'd put my slap on and throw my hair up and jump into the motor and drive around Lidl and get stuck in the middle, elbow deep, look for the bargains, buy all the German home brands, even though I can't read a word of it. I know butter when I see butter. I know milk when I see milk. But if it's 89p, I'll buy for 89p for 2 litres. Do you understand what I mean? And I wouldn't just...
I do.
But what happens next, though, if you do become a lifestyle creep? And it gets worse.
To be clear, this is not about calling somebody a lifestyle creep.
You just called me a lifestyle.
No, I didn't. I'm saying this is a newfangled term.
Well, you use the term.
No, but I'm not calling you a lifestyle.
I know you didn't. We're crying out loud.
You lifestyle
That's
creep.
going to be me and you on Saturday at the show. Oh, shut up, you lifestyle creep.
But anyway, just to talk about just for the benefit of the listeners, the signs of lifestyle creep. The most obvious sign that you are slipping in terms of your lifestyle standards is the gradual change in your spending habits, right? So things like you're spending much more than you used to on holidays. Hello, 3 holidays a year now. Lifestyle creep, definitely. Eating out and so on. Or you upgrade your car more frequently, or you've always got like a home project on the go. So whether you're buying like new furniture, installing smart devices, or redecorating, or you started to pay for maybe somebody to come in and clean your home, or gardeners or decorators. That's kind of what they're saying. Do you know that way?
Yes.
But one of the other things that it's sort of talking about is this where you're actually no longer saving. You're running out of money at the end of every month because you're literally spending, as they say, living beyond your means. Anyway, the point of this was I was just wanting to have a wee chat to see whether or not you ever felt that you were sort of found yourself in this situation where your lifestyle has creeped to enjoy the finer things of life.
I think in my younger years, in my early 20s and 30s, I was stupid with money. Very stupid with money.
Oh, God, all of us.
Every one of us. But when I took on this career for myself, and I left that pension paid job in the Royal Victoria Hospital, I really did wise up. And I realised the value of the pound, but I also realised what I could get for a pound. You know, I could get quite a lot for a pound if I was smart. It wasn't how I spent it, it was where I spent it. But I also take this as a kind of a sort of a guide with what my mother used to do when we were kids. Because back then you used to have these two catalogues. One was called K's and the other one was called Littlewoods, right?
The Littlewoods, yeah.
When they came around the door, my mummy made every single one of us get all the pages, rip them all out in the big square and twist them into paper sticks. And we used them to light the fire.
You remember you saying that before?
She never, my mummy never went to bingo. She wasn't a big drinker. She wasn't a gambler. She wasn't, and we used to say, you know, we used to say, why do you not do that, mummy? She's like, because I don't want to get into debt.
Yeah.
And that was the plain and simple reason why, you know, she could have quite easily fallen into that hole and she never did. So I always kind of have that somewhere in the back of my tiny wee 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old head. You didn't need it to begin with. So as I got older, yes, in my 20s and my 30s, I was bucked off, crazy, stupid. I dead up to my eyeballs. By the time I got to 40, I was like, whoa. You know?
But do you not think in 2025, though, it makes it so much easier now because like you can literally one click on Amazon. You don't even have to put your card details in. You're simply scrolling through social media and there's a shopping item available for purchase. Like, you know, that way you need to, I suppose in some regards, you need to have a little bit of self-restraint because you end up falling into this idea of like spontaneous purchases. You go on to Temu, for example. It's like going through IKEA. Do you remember like the IKEA marketplace? You go into IKEA for, you know, a frying pan and you come back out with 100 candles and you buy all these different utensils and all that you didn't need. But like it is now, even on Temu, they're constantly trying to gamify and like, you know, buy these 3 items and we'll give you a £300 coupon. And you end up scrolling through there to buy the biggest pile of crap. Like, you know, anyway. So look.
I do.
If you find, if anybody's listening to this and they can resonate with anything that we've said, you're probably suffering from lifestyle creep.
But also remember, we are all only human, and we have some of us have to learn by our mistakes and little life lessons. And you know, shopping today is so easy. Debt is so easy and unnecessary. You know, necessary debt, your mortgage, your insurances, and all of that kind of stuff, and you work your ass off to pay them off, but when you look at your phone and you see all those, and when you're on social media platforms and you have all the different outlets because you looked at something that was in China and then all of a sudden it's there in Facebook and all the other little nuggets of social media. I just put my phone down. I just take myself off.
Well, actually, they say that's actually one of the best things you can do is show a little bit of restraint. Take like almost like, you can scroll and you can find things that you like, but leave them in your basket and come back to them within like 12 or 24 hours and actually see whether you feel the same way about the purchase.
I done that today.
See, that's such a great way of being able to regulate your spending. And as I said, a lot of that is because all these apps and everything is designed to encourage you to spend. So you need to recognize that. Anyway, well, there you go. That's all. That's my tidbit for this week. That was
Stop spending unnecessary monies.
Listen, you lifestyle creep.
Yeah, my dirty big cackle, honest to God. But yeah.
There is just one other thing, Lexi, I wanted to bring up. We nearly are out of time, but I think this is probably a good time to maybe mention to our viewers and indeed our listeners who have been with us. So from episode 50, so this is going to be episode 49. So episode 50, which is going to come out next week, is actually going to be our last episode in this series. Tina and I are going to take a small hiatus of a couple of months.
Sabbatical.
And a sabbatical. Some of us are going to go off and do shopping and going on holidays.
However, we're only going to go away for a short time because we've got so much on. It's only fair to everyone who has been so loyal to us, paying for the Patreon, really endorsing our Sips and Giggles podcast. So we have something really extra special to tell you all next week. What the big plan is.
Absolutely. So you need to tune in next week for the finale of Series 1. Actually, just while we are talking about Patreon and before we move on, I do want to give a very quick shout out to our very latest Patreon member, Jim Walker. Jim, thank you so much for subscribing to Patreon and to the Sips and Giggles podcast.
Hello,
We really appreciate
Mr. Walker.
It's so good to have you with us.
Yes.
So thank you for joining.
Yes, welcome aboard, my darling. Welcome to the world of Sips and Giggles. Sips and Giggles, Sips and Giggles. Makes your heart go wiggle. That didn't even work, but...
I mean, it was close. It was
Yeah.
close. And of course, before we should also give a very big thank you and shout out to all of our other Patreons
Yeah.
as well. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
And everyone who
and
listens, all our listeners, you know the way we get our little quotes and some of the topics that we've covered and we still cover. And, you know, people who play catch up and they'll send you a message or me a message and say, I listened to such and such podcast. And then I'll message you and I'll go, that was like 10 weeks ago. But it just goes to show that the people who are so devoted to our gorgeous wee podcast, Sips and Giggles, are so devoted that they're, I love the fact that they're making time for us.
100%.
And they're either doing the
100%.
cleaning or they're in the car or they're going on a journey or, you know, and invite a friend round to have a little chat and a discussion and a listen, because you can always contact us on any of the platforms. Ask us anything you want. Anything.
Yeah. Can I just say, by the way, and we will go through these next week, but did you know that on Spotify, for those people who are listening to the podcast on Spotify, you can actually leave a comment on Spotify for the episode? Now, I only found this out today, but we've got comments from as far back as 9 months ago on some of the episodes. So, as part of our episode next week, I think we should go through all of the feedback that we've got from all of the episodes, do a bit of a recap about where we started to where we are. And just have a bit of a chat about. I think that'd be a nice way of tying off.
Can you remember the
the
first?
entirety of Series 1.
Can you remember the first one?
Yes, I remember it like yesterday.
Oh my God. And how it all started. Glenn, what's a podcast?
I know. I remember it took me somewhere along. Listen, tune in next week where we talk about this. Lexi, it's been so fabulous
too,
catching
honey.
up with you. I missed your face. So good to see you.
I just got a message from Timu.
They're listening. The call is coming from inside the house.
Oh my God, Elon Musk is at the bottom of the stairs.
Controversial.
I
Right,
know.
we're going to end the episode here. Lexi, until next week.
Chin
Chin,
chin.
chin.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of G&T Sips and Giggles. If you've enjoyed our conversation, then don't forget to share it with your friends, and why not subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Your reviews mean the world to us and really help others find the show, so please take a moment to leave one, but be kind. If you'd like to support the podcast, why not consider joining us on Patreon? For the cost of a drink a month, you can listen to episodes early, access exclusive digital content, and get discounts to upcoming G&T shows. Your support helps us keep the conversation flowing. Cheers! We'll see you next time. Chin chin!